When was the first time you heard of Elvis Presley?
One of that first record he had out was 54, 55. And it was the greatest sound I ever heard in my life.
Yes?
Yeah.
You was surprised?
Thoroughly surprised. The records were getting played, you know, in Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, of course, Tennessee. Boy, they were just playing the heck out of them things. And it sounded like it was about a 5 or 6 piece band. But it wasn't nobody but Bill, Black, Scotty Moore, and Elvis. They were great.
What did you think about this swinging hip style at first? Because it was quite a new experience at that time.
Yeah, it was very unusual. Normally, I worked with a lot of country acts, you know, basic country acts, and they just got up and they sang their songs. They didn't do anything. Then when Elvis came out, they said, "What's this guy doing?" You know? But that's just the way he felt the music. He wasn't doing it to be funny or anything like that. That's just the way he felt.
Because it was complete new in that period.
It was music. Absolutely new.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Elvis first appeared on the Louisiana Hayride on October 19th, 1954, you were also there. How was the audience response to him?
Well, at first, the first show was a little quiet, actually.
Yes.
For the fact was, the show, they were used to going in and see their favorite country artists, Webb Pierce, Johnny Horton, all country artists. Yes. So they wasn't used to that running around the stage like Elvis did. But what happened, eventually, they went home and they told their kids about Elvis. So you better go down and see this guy, he's good.
Was that the same reaction like his first appearance in the Grand Ole Opry?
Yeah, kind of, yeah, well, not quite as bad, but it was quiet. Then the next week and the following week, all the kids start coming, and then it got crazy.
What was Elvis's own thought in that time? Did he already see himself like a star?
Oh, no, absolutely, no. I don't think Elvis ever saw himself as a star. No, I don't think so. Not down deep in his heart, no.
Do you think that Elvis started his stage antics, his movements, because he knew what the response would be?
No. It was just a natural thing for him to do. He wasn't...
natural behavior?
That's just the way he was. He had a lot of nervous energy anyhow. He just moved around all over the stage. He wasn't trying to put on a show, just the way he felt the music.
Yeah. Do you think that when the big success hit him in 1956 with Heartbreak Hotel, that he could take it all still in, that he actually knew what happened? I mean, a 20-year-old boy from the backwoods who overnight becomes the most popular figure in his country, who is on television, radio, sells millions of records, girls fainting, become hysterical. Did he have still his feet at that time firmly on the ground?
He never did change. And he wasn't like, you know, people say, well, he was an overnight success, but he really worked. We worked about 1.5 years in Texas. Just so before, we was working you know, on the first records.
Yes.
Then when Heartbreak was the first million-selling records, that's when he broke wide open, but we were working all the time anyhow.
Yeah, and when you were touring with him in the 50s, what was his outlook on life? Was he just a carefree, fun-loving womanizer, or was he already more serious? That's a question we already talked about it this afternoon.
No, he wasn't a womanizer.
No?
No. People think we all were, you know, as young people, but we didn't have the time. It wasn't our fault.
No. But you were as a group touring, and all the girls were walking right behind you.
Yeah, but then we had security everywhere, and then we had the vice squad everywhere. Then we had the police department watching us, and the mothers watching us, and the fathers watching us. We didn't have a chance.
You didn't have a chance? No. Was that bad luck, or
are you happy with that? And then we'd get off, say tonight we was in St. Louis. Maybe the next day we had to go to Texas.
Yes.
So we had to drive all night, you know, and that went on and on and on. So we didn't have time to do all these things they said we did.
If you would have the time.
No, we still couldn't do it.
Okay.
You know, you got to be careful what you're doing.
what did he think about the hysteria he created?
Oh, he enjoyed the kids hollering and screaming. He got more fun out of watching them than they watching him. He just have a good time watching the people.
How were you invited to the NBC show in 1968?
Oh, they just called on the phone.
Just a phone call and
yeah.
Please come along. And don't you think they should have given you a decent set of drums instead of a guitar case you had to slap?
No, they had a set of drums.
Yes.
They had them on stage, but the stage was almost as small as this table. It was a very small stage, and the cameras couldn't really shoot around them. They were in the way. The drums were in the way of everybody.
Yes.
So they asked, they said, what can we do? They're not. It's not matching up. They're just in the way. I said, well, we just move the drums. We play on the back of a guitar case. That's the feel they wanted. They wanted like we're sitting around talking right now in your living room. Guys are just sitting around jam session.
Yes.
That's the feel they wanted for that piece of film, and they got it.
So it was your idea to use that guitar case?
Well, yeah, I mentioned that because I had done that before.
You've done
another song, sure. Yeah. Don't Be Cruel, that pop.
Yes.
It's the back of a case. We've done a lot of them like that.
So sure. You can choose between drums and a guitar case.
Yeah. So we took the case because it was out of the way. It's in your lap. It's down here.
Yes.
It's not in the way, you know. And they had trouble like the hardware on the drums were reflecting off the lights and you know, making glitz across the screen, and you couldn't have that.
Do you know whether the backstage rehearsals were filmed or any other unknown material exists from that special?
That segment we did was not rehearsed. No rehearsals.
No rehearsal.
No.
It was just which is on tape. That's it.
That's what you get.
And
they didn't want a rehearsal. They didn't want it.
But then
clean.
It was quite an experiance.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. Sure.
Yes, because you can see that on the tape.
I thought that was one of the better parts of the film.
Yeah.
More relaxed for him, you know. Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah, everyone was very relaxed. Did Elvis ask you to come with him to Las Vegas in 1969? And if so, why didn't you agree to that?
He called. He called myself. He called Scotty Moore, and the Jordanaires.
Yes.
And well, management, we bounced back and forth for 3 or 4 months. You know, and it wasn't the money at all, but Scotty Moore had built a recording studio.
Yes.
So it was really hard for him to get off. And I hadn't been in Nashville very long, and so I decided I'd been on the road for over 20 years then.
Yeah.
I was married, had a couple of kids. I said, now, you know, if I'm not gonna, I want to stay home, I should do it now. You know, so I decided to stay home. And I talked to Elvis about it later. You know.
Yes.
He said, "Hey, I don't blame you. You want to do that? You do what you have to do, DJ."
I had no problem with that. He could realize the purpose and.
He told me, you know, he said, I'm gonna tell you. He said, if I could do that, I would do the same thing.
Yes.
He said, but I can't do it. You can. You can do it.
What do you think of Elvis' career in the 70s?
Well, it never did fade. I think he got stronger, you know. We had the big band by then and the strings and horns, and I think it sounded really good, you know.
Did you ever see him in the 70s, and when was the last time you saw him?
No, I never went to see his show.
No?
He was right close to me 3 or 4 times, but I was always somewhere else. I was doing other things, you know. And I saw him a lot of time. He'd come to Nashville to remix stuff, you know, and run in the studio. I hear he's in town. I'd go by and see him. Yeah.
And when was the last time you saw him?
God, I don't know. We went down. A bunch of us went down when Lisa was born, and then a couple times after that, if I was going through Memphis, I'd stop and see him, you know. But as he got busier, he was hard to catch. You know, so then you don't want to bother the guy.
But you had also contact with him by phone, or
you could call. Yeah, if he was home, but he wasn't home a lot, so he was always going somewhere.
Did you go to the funeral of Elvis Presley?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh sure.
You've been there. What went through you when you were there?
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible scene. You know, thousands and thousands of people out in the streets.
One of the most asked questions from the Elvis fans is what are some of your best memories of Elvis, personally and professionally?
Well, I thought professionally, the guy had so much talent, just tons of talent. He could play guitar, play a little bass, play some drums, organ, piano. So, in fact, he played bass on "Baby I Don't Care." You know that part that goes da 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 da.
Yes.
He played that.
He played the bass.
Yeah, he played on that.
But he also played on your drums.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He could play anything.
He did that often?
No, not if he's playing around, you know, he would play. Yeah, he was. Well, he had so much talent, he could kind of do anything, you know.
And about your personal memories?
Oh God, they're all good, you know. He was really nice to be in my family, you know. He was always teasing. I'd bring the kids by or bring them down to the house and,
yes.
Hey, you guys get anything you want, you know, and just, you know, he's just always good to his people. Yeah.
Do you know if any songs which he sang live in the 50s that haven't been recorded?
I kind of doubt it. If we recorded them, they're somewhere. But I don't think RCA knows where they're at.
Yes.
I doubt it. Then there, you know, there's been so many bootlegs out, and so you know there's some stuff out there somewhere. They just dribble it out a little at a time. I don't know where it's at, you know, but somebody's got some stuff, I would think. Because we would do like maybe go in there and do 10 sides, you know, in maybe a week. But there'd be so much stuff, outtakes, that he's, oh no, I won't do it again. You know, just a lot of, you do half of a song or one verse and one chorus of a song, then stop. I don't like that. Just go on to something else, you know. So tapes are there somewhere. Just a matter of somebody finding them.
Are you aware of the fact that there will be every year some new items of Elvis will come out, new stories will come out?
Sure. Yeah.
Because we talked this morning about the story of, I heard from Elvis, his doctor, that he said Elvis was afraid of the water, he didn't want to take a bath.
Why did they have the swimming pools?
Yes.
You know, so you can't believe all those stories. No, he stayed in the water.
When does it stop?
And never. Long as he is way up here, it'll never stop. People will always write, you know, and there's so many of those guys writing books that are, it's really, I don't know, I can't understand how they let them get away with it, but, you know, you got all these legal laws that you can do a lot of things that...
Yes, but in America they have a kind of system of law that they can sue people when they say something wrong.
Sure you can, but it's what you hear is the Esquire and a lot of the magazines, they never tell you exactly like everything is. They'll write from a reliable source. Who could that be? It could be anybody.
Anybody.
They always get around the truth. So, and you really can't prove it's fraud or derogatory to his or anybody's living conditions. You know, those big stars, they sue that company all the time, but it doesn't do much good.
But lucky enough, there are more people who think different about Elvis in a good way, and they will still think about him in that way.
Yeah, well, see, they don't care. The true Elvis fans could care less what people say. And like I always tell them, you know, they'll come up, I never read any of the books, you know, but they'll come up and ask me, so did you read so-and-so's book? I said, no, I didn't read it. Well, why don't you read it? I said, I don't want to read it.
You don't read the books?
No, never, no. I've got them.
You've got them, but you never read them.
Why should I, you know?
You know all about it, so...
What the fans tell me, what's in the books.
Aren't you interesting about the stories they write about Elvis?
No, because it's most of it garbage. See, so why should I even...
But you have to read it to know if it's garbage.
Well, I'll go by what the fans tell me, and they'll tell you the truth.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't have to read it.
No.
They'll tell me what it is.
You have the books at your home.
Oh, I've got them, but the fans tell me what's going on all the time.
On behalf of the Dutch fans and the Dutch Elvis Presley fan club, it's Elvis time. I want to thank you for this interview. I hope You liked it?
Oh, I've had a good time so far, and you know, I want to thank the fan club and all the guys for inviting me over. It's been fun, yeah. I've been wanting to come, to Holland. I've been wanting to go to Germany.
Yes.
So now I had a chance to go.
Well,
it's really been nice.
Perfect.